All right. Well, welcome everyone. We've got an interesting webinar today. I hope interesting. My name is Jay Berkowitz, and today we're going to show you how to rank on all 6 parts of Google. And if you can, do me a favor, just type in the chat. Let me open the chat here so I can see what's going on. The first part of Google is local service ads. Number 2 is search, pay per click search. Number 3, the brand new Google AI search. And we're going to talk a lot about that. Number 4, Google Maps, how to get ranked in the 3-pack. Super important for an attorney or a personal injury attorney. Most of my examples today are going to be for personal injury attorneys. Number 5, SEO. And number 6, the mystery number 6, here's where the chat comes in. Hey, Mark Lopez from Indianapolis. Does anyone have a guess? What is that mysterious 6th part of Google that's super important to search rank for? So let's get into it. We're going to look at Google Maps. We're going to look at the incredible results that we can track for the 3-pack for Google Maps. We're going to track keywords. These guys got 13,000 keywords on Google, meaning you search for something, your website comes up. We're going to show you what to do if you've fallen off the Google cliff. Is your SEO going in the wrong direction? And a couple examples of that. We're going to spend a lot of time on the Google local service ads. These are the ads that come right at the very top of Google. And I have a download for that with our secret algorithm. I'll throw that up on the screen a little longer later on, but if you want to pause and grab it if you're watching this sometime in the future on YouTube, go ahead. And this is the new AI, the generative artificial intelligence search results. And these are starting to pop up. Google had a little mistakes, a few mistakes when they first launched the AI. Most of these AI products do a little what's called hallucinating. They make up answers, but Google's going to have to get this right, because obviously a lot of people are using ChatGPT and the other AI search services. So Google's going to incorporate this. We're going to show you the history of that and how to get ranked in these. These are clickable spots. So super great opportunity. So do me a favor, again, in the chat, just give us a quick one. If you're super confident, if you figure you've got all 6 parts of Google nailed and you're crushing it and your SEO is great and you're just here for some of those super advanced tips. And give me a 2 in the chat if you're a little bit more confused. If you're like, hey, we really need some help. I don't know the difference between local service ads and pay-per-click. I never even heard of the local service ads. Put a 2 in the chat. And if you're somewhere in the middle, put a 3 in the chat. Give me a hands up. All right, we got some confident folks. But first of all, we've got 1s and 3s and 2s. Thanks for playing along. First of all, congratulations and big shout out to y'all for being here today or for watching this on YouTube, because we're all super busy. If you're an attorney, if you're a personal injury attorney, if you're in the marketing department at a law firm, we've all got a lot to do. So thanks for your time today. And the reason why I'm congratulating you is because the people who take the time to study their craft, to put the time in to do things right, to learn the best practices, are generally going to be in the top 5% of their field. And I put a lot of time in. Hopefully you guys will appreciate that today. I watch webinars, I listen to podcasts, I listen to stuff on search, I listen to stuff on marketing, I listen to stuff on tennis to improve my tennis game. So y'all are putting the time in today. My goal today, my mission, my space mission, Elon's crushing it and getting us to space. My mission today is to give y'all the tools you need to succeed in all 6 parts of search. We're going to talk about some basics in each section, some intermediate stuff and some advanced stuff. And then we're going to move into a little bit about me. So I'm going to start with just a little bit about me. As I said, the advanced strategy. So I come from Winnipeg, Canada. Most of the year it looks like this, one of the coldest places on earth. And we got really super lucky and moved to beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. There's my beautiful wife, Bonnie, and my beautiful pup, Parker, hanging out in Boca. My company's called 10 Golden Rules, and we do internet marketing for law firms. So if at the end of all this, you figure, hey, this stuff's all great, Jay, but I don't have time to do all this stuff. Please get in touch with us through 10 Golden Rules. You can find me anywhere, Jay Berkowitz. And one other thing, if you are watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe and like buttons. That helps us a lot. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting close, so I love you for that. Here's some of our amazing clients all across the country. We do websites, SEO, all the stuff we're going to talk about today, pay-per-click, local service ads, Google Maps, content, video. Here's a beautiful new site we did for Keith and Arneth Foster in Atlanta. Another really great site for Fadul in the West. They're in Texas and New Mexico. I personally wrote this first book called The 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing over 20 years ago now. So I've been talking about this stuff and speaking on all the big stages, talking about internet marketing. My fifth book is coming out called Advanced Internet Marketing for Law Firms. We're also pretty popular on YouTube. We have over 300,000 views. Our top most popular video has been viewed 85,000 times. So as I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate that. That really helps us out. One last thing before we get into the content today, mini case study. I got a call from a really nice guy, Brian Garrett from Oklahoma City. He's a solo personal injury attorney. And he said he found us on the internet. And this is actually a case study we did with Brian on one of our videos. You can watch this on the YouTube channel. And he said he wasn't ranking for hardly anything, and now he ranks for almost everything he searches. Here's a search for Oklahoma City car accident attorneys. He's coming up in the Google screen, local service ads, in the Google Maps, and he's doing great. He's up over 1,000 keywords in terms of his SEO keywords, and he's signing cases. He's up to 30, 40 cases every single month, and that's really changed the trajectory of his business. So if you follow all these tools, if you follow all these golden rules, if you will, this is how you can succeed like Brian did. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 parts of Google. I still don't see a correct guess in the chat for what that 6th part is, but we'll get there. So for the last couple of years, actually for 4 or 5 years, I've been talking about artificial intelligence, and I've been telling the future. So this is my fortune teller section, and I've been showing what Google calls Google Labs. So this is a straight up Google search for Tom Brady, of course, the famous now retired quarterback. And Google has a section called Google Labs. So if you ever want to check out what's happening in the future, you can go to the Google Labs and they show you what they're working on in their development section. And so in that section, Google is demoing artificial intelligence. So here is like the regular search for Tom Brady, and here's the AI, the artificial intelligence result for Tom Brady. And guess what? It's here. It's real. It's live now. And we're seeing this across multiple categories. It's only coming up maybe 1, 2, 3% of searches, but we're starting to see it. And as I mentioned, Google fumbled a little bit out of the gate. They had some mistakes. But here's an example. How do I choose a car accident attorney? And we're seeing AI results for how to choose a car accident attorney. Now, what are some of the opportunities for this? Well, first of all, these are clickable links, and Google's showing their homework. So these are called citations, or I don't know what Google formally calls it in-house, but essentially these are, or it's actually called a carousel, I think. But here, Google's showing the sites they use to compile these results. So there's a search opportunity that you can actually get listed. Here's another example, how to unplug a sink. And it's interesting, like how Google's representing these different results. So they're still showing Google Guaranteed, which in legal is called Google Screened. And they're showing, a result that's compiled from different websites. And then here are the websites that they're referring to: Liquid Plumber, Home Depot. Here's a search for how to get stereo from your Bluetooth speakers. I don't know about you guys, but I got 2 of these, but it's really hard to get stereo from your Bluetooth speakers. And so, one of the things we're going to do is update content regularly to keep it current. You want the latest information and trends. So a few other things we notice here, right? Like the ads are not going away. In all these different examples, we saw the ads, and some people are saying, oh, AI is going to be the death of Google ads. No. It's $1 billion industry, $250 billion a year in revenue. It's not going away. And there's an opportunity to rank in these carousel listings. So we'll talk about how to do that. And one of the other clues is that the people also ask section that we've been talking about for a couple of years. You've probably been seeing this in Google, where Google shows the best result to a question, and then they show the other similar questions that people ask. So essentially, this answering of questions, helping people, is kind of the magic to all of this. Because for 4 or 5 years, in all their patents and trademark filings and whatnot, Google's been saying that their algorithm's based on helping people, helpful websites, answering questions. How do I choose a car accident attorney? If you're the most helpful, you've got a chance to rank for this stuff. We see Ben Crump is ranking for this. BB Law Group is in these carousel answers, right? So one of the strategies we've been using, and we highly recommend, is to answer questions for people and use a blended strategy. So we shoot videos. We give our clients a dozen simple questions and answers. What happens if I get hit by an Uber or Lyft? This is my friend and client, Jeff McDonald, based out of Richmond, Virginia. And we search engine optimize his video on YouTube. And then we use the video as a blog on the website. So now the website has a super effective web page. It's a blog page with the video combined. So we put that video on the website, and it's a blog, it's a blog video, so it's even a better video. And then we also use those videos on all the socials, in the newsletter, and on the Google Maps. And we're getting some great results. Stuart has over 6,800 views on this one. Lions and Steiner's got 3,000 video views, 25,000 video views on these search optimized videos. So how do you, some other clues, matter of fact, if you search how to rank in Google AI overviews, actually you're starting to call this section AI overview. Their product is called Google Gemini, their AI product, their comparable product to ChatGPT. So some of the things they're telling us, how do you rank for these strategies, right? Like we get an AI answer for how to rank in Google AI. Your content should be well researched, use a conversational tone. So that's something we've been seeing in a lot of the Google algorithms. Speak like a human. Don't speak like a search engine optimization person, right? Like we used to write copy that said, I'm a personal injury attorney based in, Dallas, Texas. We're Dallas car accident and motorcycle lawyers. So if you need a Dallas personal injury car accident lawyer, like you don't write that way anymore. You don't have to write for the search engines. Be authentic and make sure your content resonates. Because a lot of it is Google is evaluating your website based on how many people go to your website and then spend time there. How much content do they consume? Do they read your article? Do they watch your video? Do they sign up for your white paper or your newsletter or your webinar, right? Keep the content fresh. So part of that video strategy, when I said we shoot 12 videos, we post one per week, every week for a quarter. So if you sign up with 10 Golden Rules, we only need you for an hour and a half once a quarter. You can answer 12 questions on video, and we're going to use that for this new AI answering questions, helping people type of search engine optimization. So we keep it fresh, we make it engaging. Some other strategies, think about topics, not keywords, right? So we're not targeting like personal injury lawyer. We're typing what to do if I get hit by an Uber, right? We're targeting topics, not keywords. Okay, so that's a little bit about the new AI. Obviously, more to come. The product just came out in May. We're recording this in June 2024. If you're watching this sometime in the future. And the next up, I'm going to change the order up here a little bit. Instead of going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we covered the AI search. Now we're going to talk about the very top of Google, the Google screened or the local service ads. Some people call them LSAs. The consumer is probably going to think of it as Google Screen because it's got the check mark. But this program's been around for about 5 or 6 years. Now it's newer to the legal category, but for the consumer, plumbers, air conditioning, locksmiths, garage door repair, this program's been called Google Verified, and it's been around for 5 or 6 years. So the consumer might not know what this check mark means or how a lawyer gets a check mark, but they do know that Google's verified you in some way, shape, or form. So number one, this is a great place to be because you got the check mark. Number two, it's at the very top of Google. Number three, we want these opportunities. We want these phone calls because typically, and I'm sure this is the same for your firm as it is for every other firm, when you get a phone call, you convert those into customers like 1 in 4, 1 in 5, 20%, 25%, right? So a phone call is much better than a click, like a pay-per-click, where if in this instance, they're going to click over to the client's website. And if you're a good website, it's going to convert at 5 or 10%. But if you're even if you're not that good, you're going to convert like 20% of people who call you. So this gives you 100% opportunity. This only gives you like a 5 or 10% opportunity, right? So we're gonna focus next on these local service ads. Now, one thing that's changed, just new tweak on Google, and Google's always tweaking things, right? So there's two results on a desktop search and three on the all-important mobile search. Now, pay a lot of attention to mobile. A lot of my examples here today are desktop, but over 60 or 70% of searches for personal injury law and for most categories of law, family attorneys, we do some work with sex abuse attorneys, some securities litigators. Most of the searches being done these days are being done on mobile. So a lot of our thinking is always like when we look at our computer in our office, but you always got to search, these keywords on mobile and see what's going on in your in the mobile environment. So much more important. So the other reason why this program is so important, like this is one of our clients, and you see they got about 200 over 200 leads in their Google dashboard. Now, when you log into the back end of the local service ads, what you're going to see is you're going to see all your leads listed out like this, and you see these two are new, so they haven't been opened yet, so they're still dark. But if I click on this, I get lots of details about the caller. I can actually click and listen to the call. So you click a little, play button and you listen to the calls. So that's how you disposition these calls, and you move them into either completed, this is a good lead, thank you very much, Google, or archived. Hey, this was someone looking for a lawyer, but they're looking for, a real estate lawyer. I'm a family attorney. I don't take real estate calls. And here's some of our clients doing great right at the very top of the local service ads, either in the top one or two positions. And the other question I get all the time, like, does this really work? Like, we used to come up in the local service ads in the Google screen, but we don't come up anymore. But here's one of our clients, very consistent, steady activity. We're able to get, somewhere between 50 and 185 leads every month. And these are total leads charged. So what we do is we track the ones that were disputed. So the total before disputes, the total after disputes, the cost per lead, and the cost per signed cases. And here's the number we all really care about, right? How many new clients signed up in a month, and what was the cost per client? So we're signing clients around, $1,000, average $1,300. These guys signed 275 clients in a year. So here's some more examples of these results. If you click on more personal injury lawyers, Google's now showing 20 results. This would be a second page, right? I click here, I go here. This is just an example of a screenshot. And I'll leave this up for a couple minutes this time. Now we're going to get into what we call our secret algorithm. These are the top 5 or 6 things you need to know to get yourself in that top 2 and consistently get a big piece of the pie. It's a very important pie, right? The very top of Google, these phone calls. So if you screen that, you'll get our secret algorithm. Now, here's the first thing I always talk about is the red phone secret. And I always like to tell a story about the Ronald Reagan White House. Supposedly, they had a red phone right there in the White House, and it was directly tied to another red phone in the Kremlin in Russia. And if that phone rang, you picked it up right away because we were in the middle of the Cold War. And if Russia was calling and wanted to negotiate about something, you immediately picked up that phone. Well, that's how I want you to think about your local service ads. When you get a call from this local service ads program, you've got to answer all calls within 15 seconds, and you can't have any missed calls. Because God forbid you miss a call from the Kremlin, there could be nuclear bombs like going off in Cuba or something, right? So we got to make certain we're answering these calls. It's mission critical, because when you miss the calls, or if you answer, like we listen to these recordings, we hear it all the time. Maybe the receptionist is on a break or something, or she's on another call, and these calls don't get answered for like 45 seconds. And then they put them on hold for another 45 seconds. Then the person hangs up. Right? You got to be super quick to pick up these calls. Now, one of the things we started doing is doing test calls. So here's some attorneys who did great. Stern and Cohen picked up on the first ring, Cicerelli on the second ring, the Rothberg firm on the second ring, Philadelphia Injury Lawyers on the second ring. You can't let those go to the dreaded answering machine, or even the phone trees. If you have one of those phone trees, the automated, hey, if you're a new client, press 1. If you're an existing client, press 2. If you're a doctor's office, press 3. That is a no-no for the local service ads. So what you want to do is put a special number on your local service ads, so it goes right to the number 1, for new clients and just gets, immediately gets that phone picked up. So no answering machines, please, on the local service ads program. Now, none of these things are really negotiable anymore because we're talking about 2 spots at the top of the desktop and 3 spots at the top of the cell phone, and direct phone calls, direct leads, right? The very top of Google. That's where we want to be. So that's why I talk so much about this program. Second thing in our secret algorithm, we're going to put the bidding mode to maximize leads. That seems to be working the best right now. Number 3, you've got to get in the back end of the program. I talked about that a minute ago, and immediately designate your leads. Is this a good lead, Mr. Google? Thank you very much. It's booked. Is this a robocall? Someone trying to sell me something? I want to archive that or even dispute it and not pay for that call. Then the next part of the algorithm, you need 1 to 2 new Google reviews, the 4 and 5-star Google reviews every week. So the old thinking was, you do a program and you try and get like 30 reviews all at once. And that's no longer the case. You want to start and spread these out and get 1 to 2 new Google reviews every week. And we developed a program called our VIP referral and review program, where we send out gift boxes to your clients, to your past, when you solve a case, when you get a resolution, and we call them on your behalf. We say, hey, we just sent you this great box. Make sure you open it. There's all kinds of branded merchandise in there. There's a gift card in there for a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts. And we've got some VIP cards in there. You can give these to your friends and family if they ever need a lawyer. And then finally, we ask them to make that 5-star Google review on your behalf. The next strategy is called the multi-location strategy. And you see we've got Morgan actually has 6 locations in Orlando. Now their head office is there. I'm sure they got a big, beautiful skyscraper with all their attorneys. Why do they have 6 locations? Well, it's called the multi-location strategy. Each one of these locations has a chance to have its own Google Maps listing and its own local service ads calls. And Google bases the algorithm on proximity. So you want to be as close to as many potential customers as possible. So again, you can download the secret algorithm, but the quick summary: answer your calls within 15 seconds, no missed calls, set bidding to maximize leads, get in there and pick those goods and bads 1 to 2 times per week, designate all leads immediately, and select the high proximity locations. And the final thing, we did a whole separate webinar. So if you're one of these people and you say, help, I've fallen, I can't get back up in the top 2. If you're one of those people, we did a whole separate webinar on this, but here's the basics. You're basically going to reset your campaign. You're going to reset your budgeting. You're going to reset a lot of components. And that's how you're going to get rebooted in the top 3. But, if you've fallen out of the top 3, give us a call or go watch that webinar. All right. So again, we're going in a little bit of a reverse order here, but number 1, we talked about the AI, the artificial intelligence, the AI overviews, Google called them. Number 2, we spent a lot of time on the local service ads. Look at this. It's right at the top of Google. Number 3, we're going to hop into Google Maps. Okay, so someone's looking for the link for the previous webinar. So maybe Alyssa or Amy can pop it in the chat. Thank you very much. Or you can just go to our YouTube channel. Just go to the 10 Golden Rules YouTube channel. When you see that cute comic graphic, that's the help I've fallen, I can't get back up. Okay, so next up, we're going to talk about Google Maps, often called the 3-pack because there's 3 results here in Google. Now, look, a lot of consumers don't like ads. And, some people just, no matter how many times they see you in the local service ads, they don't believe in clicking on ads, right? Like it says sponsored, they know it's sponsored. Maybe they don't know what this is. Maybe they don't want to call, right? Maybe they like, they're doing some research and their aunt is going to go meet with the lawyer and they're looking for someone nearby. So the Google Maps becomes the first SEO result, right? Like these we're paying for. These are pay per call. Make no mistake, you're paying $200-300 for a personal injury call, $50 for one of our attorneys is a tax attorney. But down here, these are free results, right? This is the SEO. So our client, Davis and Saperstein, is ranking number 1 in the local Maps SEO. And this is a tremendous tool that we use, and we can show you this if you want to do a little research. This shows you like right at their location. So, this is right in their, close to their location. They're number 1. And then throughout the town of Teaneck, they're number one or number two um, on the Google Maps results. So that means they're either here, here, here. And as you move further away, you're going to have to click more businesses to 4 or 5. But what we're looking for when we're optimizing for the map results, obviously we want to come up in the top 3 as often as we can. And then you see some of these other firms, they fall out of the top 3, really, really quickly. And some of them are even in the top 20 as you move out of that concentric circle. I mean, these guys, the name's been redacted to save face. They're number 7 at their very location, and they're out of the top 20 in the entire area. Same thing with these guys. They're at number 19 right at their location. So, of course, we're asking ourselves, how do we get in the top 3? How do you get this nice concentric circle, and how do you get this position in the Google Maps? So the first thing is you need Google reviews. We talked about that in the LSA section, but the local service ads are linked. Like the Google reviews you see in the local service ads come from your Google Maps. So you have to have a Google Maps address. So you want to get lots of reviews. See, Pond La Hockey's doing great. They got over 2,000 reviews. Celino and Barnes, if you know this famous New York firm split up. They're now Celino and Barnes, and you see the review battle. Celino's winning. And then here's some folks who are failing in the Google reviews. Only 14 Google reviews, only 3 Google reviews. So how can you also improve your Google Maps? Well, you've got to do Google Maps local optimization on the website. So you've got to talk about your town. You've got to have a presence for the city that you want to rank in. And one of the little tricks of the trade is you can put the actual Google Maps widget on your website. So imagine like you're trying to rank for Google search. I mean, let's face it, 95% of all searches are done on Google. They're not done on, Bing and Yahoo and whatnot. So you can actually put the Google widget on your website. That does a lot of things. Number one, you're actually putting the Google software on your website. Is that going to help with SEO? For sure it is. Number 2 is, making it easy for people to find you. So if an actual client is coming to see you, they can find this on their website. They can click the Google Maps and find their way to your website. The third thing we call in our industry is NAP, and that stands for name, address, and phone number. But it goes for everything about your listings. You really want to have precise consistency. Because remember, Google is not, there's a lot of humans who work there, but Google's a computer. It's not a human, right? So what you want to do is you want to feed precise bits and bytes into the search engine to get the SEO results. So here's Davis and Saperstein again. And the way they list their company is Davis, Saperstein, ampersand Solomon. And everywhere throughout the web, Super Lawyers, Yelp, Facebook, they use a very exactly, precisely consistent naming, address, and phone number. So you got to be very, very careful that it's exact. Like we get screwed up all the time because our company name is 10 Golden Rules. And a lot of people list it as 10 Golden Rules TEN, and other people list it as 10, the number 10 Golden Rules. All right. So number 1, we looked at AI. Number 2, LSAs. Number 3, maps. And I'm kind of doing this in order of importance because I'm not the biggest fan of the pay-per-click, particularly for personal injury these days. Very, very expensive. And a lot of the clicks are going here. As a matter of fact, Google's not even showing the pay-per-click in a lot of search results these days. So I'm super bullish, obviously you could tell, on the local service ads. And I want my clients to spend every possible dollar they can, get as many of these calls because they're direct phone calls, much better than clicks. All right, so number 4 is the SEO. And I'm sort of ranking these in order of importance, right? Like, I mean, this is kind of new and exciting, but, really, this is going to get you the most cases, I believe, followed by, great SEO results, which is obviously the best cost per lead because they're free, right? Maps combined with SEO. So here's a Fern, Samdan. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for some nice growth and results. And what this data is telling us is they have 80 keywords in the top 3 search results, and they went to 326. So this is really tremendous SEO. They have 829 in 4 to 10 and 1,000 in 11 to 20. Here's Garces Grabler. They went from 337 to 915. So how do you get these great results? Oh, by the way, how do you get these results where you've fallen off the Google clip? And whenever I do this presentation for a live audience, A lot of times what I say to people is that, uh, if this is you, you got to come see me after the presentation. Because if you know your SEO leads have fallen, or if you just feel like your phone's not ringing as much, you could have gone afoul of Google. So there's a lot of things we can find for you if your agency or your web guys haven't been able to figure this out. So let's take a look at what I call the ABCs of SEO. Because Google, there's a recent data leak, and a lot of the Google internal documents were leaked. There's over 14,000 factors in Google figuring out like who goes in all these places, but in particular in the free SEO, who goes in, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the SEO, and who goes into the Google Maps in the free place. So there's 14,000 factors, but obviously nobody knows exactly what they are in which order of importance, but I like to simplify things. So instead of 14,000, I'm going to give you three, the ABCs of SEO. And let's start with number A is architecture. So the first thing is your website has to be fast. And there's a free tool called Google Page Speed Insights that tells you how quick your website is. So this website does amazing. Levin Injury Law. They get 100 out of 100. So the website's wicked fast. And this is on mobile. So it means like that website, Zavodnik, loads up right away. Injury Lawyer loads up right away. Craig Altman, 99 out of 100. Amazing results. And then some folks who are not so fast, right? So Schrager's got some work to do. Heslin, if anybody knows Heslin, let them know that they got to get in touch with their web guys. KM Injury Lawyers, My Philly Lawyer, not doing so well. Here's some other amazing technical things we look at. So this is another tool where we're grading websites. They get 100% performance. Their structure's good. The website loads extremely quickly. Mark, I see you're asking for Google Site for Speed. Just Google Page Speed Insights. So again, here's some really amazing performance. So the A is the architecture of the website. There's a lot to it, but essentially your website's got to load quickly, and it's got to be easy for the spiders to read. Number 2 is backlinks. And here we're looking at links from other sites to your website. And essentially, this is a rating that tells Google, hey, there's something valuable over there, because this blogger said, if you're have a traumatic brain injury, you got to go see these guys because they're the experts in traumatic brain injuries. It's like when you obviously you get everybody gets a link from the Bar Association, but let's say you get a link from your Chamber of Commerce. Well, that's a local link. It's an important organization. You've obviously been accepted into the Chamber of Commerce. That becomes a vote for your website. So these guys, injurylawyer.com, have 2,377 other sites linking to their site. Monthly.com, 3,000 other sites linking to their site. My Legal Group, only 37. So they got some work to do on links. These guys blocked out, get a 6. So where do you get high quality, influential, important links? Well, one of the things, if you can get an article written about your company through, old-fashioned PR, that's going to be great. And we got an article written by this writer, Maria Williams, and it was about rideshare wrecks and what to do when you're in an accident. And then we quoted 3 of our attorneys, Jeff Phillips, Jeff McDonald, Gary Solomon, and we got links from this important publication, USA Today, to their website. Here's another one that was written for our attorneys, and it's about MSN, right? And we got a link to Kevin Roach, Brian Garrett, and Tom Cifarelli out in California. So again, the MSN website linking to their site, a blue activated clickable link is super valuable for the law firms. Here's a link on business.com and LegalZoom. So again, we're looking for important sites and relevant sites, links to your website. Another site that's super valuable in Google's eyes is a .gov site, a .gov link. And this is a link that Stewart & Stewart, our clients in Carmel, Indiana, negotiated with the city of Carmel, Indiana, a direct link over to their website. Another program we do is scholarships. So, what a great thing. You want to give $500, $1,000 of a scholarship to law school students at your law school. And the law schools are all very familiar with this request. Hey, can you link to our website? And we'll put the application form for for the scholarship on our website. And it can be automated, like the law school can take care of doing the scholarship, but you're going to get a link from a .edu, which Google sees as a valuable, important link. Here's one from Cornell EDU to our my friend Scott Silver. So the A is architecture, how your website is, how quick it is, how easy it is for the spiders to read, how accurate it is in terms of its navigational structure. B is backlinks, other important sites linking to you. And finally, C is content. And here we have a rich snippet. And I'm going to answer Mark's question. Rich snippets are important, but it's not number 6. We're still going to reveal the 6th area of Google that's super important. But this is what's called a rich snippet. So above the people also ask, we're either going to see an actual website, or we're going to see those AI results. So Google's going to start sneaking in those artificial intelligence results here. But either way, you've got a chance to get your website linked, right? Because if the AI result comes up with the carousel, the same sort of structure of creating your websites and doing your SEO applies here. So how do you get these great results, either in the rich snippet or the people also ask? Because these are other questions people ask about the ERC grants. And if I click the drop down, you got a chance to be listed there as well. So one thing is, you're going to get the keyword, can you get the ERC credit for 1099s, in the name of the page, in the title of the page, in the SEO on the page. So if a lot of people don't know this, we don't do it very often anymore. But if I use the right click function on my mouse, it opens up this agenda. And then if I click on view page source, it shows me the title, what's called the H1 title tag, the H2 tag, the description tag. So these are other places where you can get keywords in the code of your website that's linking. No, good one. Mark's got some good questions. It's not schema code, but that's a good guess. But it's coming up real soon. So we're at number 5, number 6 coming up. Drum roll, please. But number 6, obviously, the pay per click. So still a very good way to get clicks to your website. Still super valuable. I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of the pay per click, mostly because it's gotten very, very expensive. I mean, look at Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com. They're spending $1.5 million on pay per click. They do a great job too, by the way. One thing we want to see is that you're testing lots of ads. So one of the things when you're doing pay per click, these little graphics are representative of testing. So here's what auto claim lawyer, right? And see, we're testing the purple, the light purple, the dark purple, the green, the red. So they're testing lots of different ad copy. So you want to develop, really clickable, see, they've got some things here like call text 24/7, free unless we win your case. The fee is free unless we win, right? So you see, they're testing lots of different variants. Basically, real good, well-structured pay-per-click campaign. And then a lot of times you're also going to go to a specific landing page. So when you click on the ad, you might, like for a motorcycle accident attorney page, go to a motorcycle accident page. Talk about your expertise in motorcycles. Talk about some of your largest verticals. Wins in motorcycle. Talk about some of the specialists in your team who maybe ride a motorcycle, right? Create a landing page so you can, when you click here, you can select which page on your website that ad goes to. All right, now, and again, if you want to learn all about pay-per-click, we have a whole entire webinar on Google pay-per-click on our YouTube channel at 10 Golden Rules. But you got to do me a favor. If you go to watch any of these videos, you got to subscribe to the channel, because that'll help us. We're trying to get to 1,000, because that gives us a little bit more leverage with Google. Okay, the last guesses. Denner Corrales, good guess. Knowledge graph, not what we're looking for. So number 1, the AI results. Number 2, LSAs. And number 6, I clicked it by mistake, is YouTube. I mean, think of it. Google owns YouTube. Whenever Google introduces like a new thing, like these AIs, they rewrite everything into their algorithm. Like the local service ads is connected to Google Maps. Google Maps is connected to regular SEO. So everything's interconnected. And years ago, when Google bought YouTube, they immediately started connecting the algorithm. So if you had YouTube videos on a topic and you ranked for those YouTube videos, that would include your SEO, increase your SEO. And when you put a YouTube video on your website, that would increase your SEO. And when you properly optimize a YouTube video, that's going to increase your chances for ranking in video searches. So we're crushing it. Thank God for you all watching our videos on our channel. Our top video is up to 85,000 views, which blows my mind, and it's awesome. So let's look at a YouTube search. Now, some people, a lot of us, are going to use YouTube for searches. Like I showed you a search earlier for like unclogging a sink drain. Like that's the kind of thing that you might think, hey, somebody probably did a video on this, and you say like, I'm going to go straight to YouTube. Now, some people are going to still search on Google, but some people are going to straight search on YouTube. So, we have direct opportunity to come up on YouTube. And guess what? There's pay-per-click ad opportunities on YouTube. And then these are all SEO results on YouTube on how to select a personal injury attorney. And you can also get video results that come up in the normal search, how to select an attorney for a slip and fall. And our client, Lyons and Snyder, came up in this result. And it directly links to YouTube. So some of the things you want to do is, obviously, if you have an attractive thumbnail, a clickable looking thumbnail, you got a better chance of getting people to click on it. You need a good title, including the question. Like, remember, I talked earlier about a different philosophy we have. What we're doing in SEO is of course, we're trying to rank for like car accident attorney Houston, but we're also trying to rank for questions people will be asking before hiring a lawyer, because we search differently, right? Like we don't just search like car accident attorney Houston. Now we've got Siri, we've got Alexa, we've got YouTube. We're going to ask questions like, should I go to the hospital after a car accident in Florida? Do I need a car accident attorney if I was just rear-ended? How do I get the insurance company to pay for my car repairs after a car accident? A lot of people are going to do research. They're going to ask a question. So literally what we do is we're writing SEO blogs and videos based off of the questions that we want to get cases from. And then we put that as the title. So we're actually writing a question as a title, right? So like sort of counterindicative, right? Like counterintuitive. But we write the actual title, the question, into the title, and we write these questions, into the, do you think you have broken bones? Are you having trouble breathing? We write questions into the description. So you need a really good title with the keyword or the keyword question you're targeting, a really good description, and then you're going to use things like transcripts in your YouTube description. And that YouTube video goes on the website on a search engine optimized blog. Now here's Lyons and Snyder's page. We've got some tremendous results here. And I see some questions coming in. By the way, I'm wrapping up the content portion. So, go ahead and write questions in the chat, and we'll take questions in a minute. We see here that, these guys are doing great, 32,000 views, 26,000 views. And we're going to search engine optimize the YouTube channel as well. So really good questions, really good, really good thumbnails here, really good, good graphics, and optimizing the channel as well as optimizing each video itself. All right, so let me just skip quickly here and just do a quick summary. All right, so number one, we talked about the AI search, and you've got an immediate opportunity to rank in these. Basically, Google's giving you their sources, the sources from the site, and so you've got a great opportunity to rank here as well. And so what we're going to do is this is like the question and answer SEO we talked about in a couple sections, because if you're helping people, if your website is answering questions, if people spend a lot of dwell time on your website, watching your videos, downloading your white papers, then your website is helpful. And so Google's more likely going to use the data to say, hey, this is a great website to answer this question. So that's why we're specifically creating SEO question and answer content to rank for the question and answer, as well as the people also ask section. So that's a great strategy going forward in your SEO. Answer questions, incorporate video, YouTube videos, number 6, to answer questions, and then put those blogs on your website, because people are going to spend more time watching, if they come and read a blog and they watch your video, and you create a page that's all about answering a question, that's the modern search engine optimization. Number 2, we talked about the local service ads, Google screened, and the secret algorithm for that. Maybe I'll grab that graphic again in a minute, and you all could download our secret algorithm for the local service ads. But some of the basics: answer the phones, 1 to 2 new reviews per week, and getting in quickly into the Google system to tell Google good lead, bad lead, give them feedback right away, and also put some keywords in your answer. So when you go in there, you can designate, like Mrs. Smith called, she was in a car accident, she was T-boned, she's currently in the hospital, and she's seeing the neck surgeon. She's probably going to have neck surgery. The more keywords you can put in there, like car accident, hospital, neck surgeon, right? You're feeding the algorithm, the search engine algorithm. I mentioned all these algorithms are linked, and you can be darn sure that Google has written SEO algorithms into their local service ad analysis. So if you say, yes, this is a great lead, give me more like this. I'm paying for this lead. This is a good lead. I booked a meeting, and then actually booked the meeting. Like, say, Mrs. Smith is coming in tomorrow at 3:00 in the local service ads. You have much more chance to rank in the local service ads. Number 3 is Google Maps. We talked about getting reviews, fixing your NAP, your name, address, phone. So getting lots of local sites to link to you, but make sure they're exactly precise with the name of your firm, exactly the way it is on Google Maps, and your address and your phone number. Number 4, SEO. We talked about the ABCs of SEO. Architecture. Your website's got to be fast and easy for the spiders to read. B is backlinks, and C is content. Number 5 is pay-per-click. So we want to have a nice consistent link between the keyword, your ad, and the landing page. And you want to do lots of ad testing within your pay-per-click campaigns. And the secret number 6 was YouTube search engine optimization. All right. So we've got some great questions here. Thank you all for playing along. Actually, let me just grab the download in case you guys want to get the secret algorithm, because that's been very popular at our recent presentations. Here it is. I'm just going to throw this up, and then I'm going to answer some questions. And you can either scan that, or you can just go to www.10goldenrules.com, spelled out TENGOLDENRULES.com, 10goldenrules.com/LSA, like local service ads, _ ebook, EBOOK, 10goldenrules.com/LSA _ ebook. Obviously, I'm reading that out for folks who hopefully are listening to this on a podcast one day, and you want to download that. All right, so let me get to some of the chat here. Great questions. Hey, Alicia is on the call. Grace Clark, nice to see you. I'm going to go all the way back to the start and get some questions. Hello from Gainesville. Snippets, people also asked, was a good guess. AI, we got. Okay, Gabriel, is it very hard to win a dispute for LSAs even when the calls are outside of your practice area? Oh, it is very hard. Yes, that's correct. Like, in terms of the disputes in the local service ads, first thing is got to be quick. Second thing is type in notes, type in very detailed notes. But, a lot of times Google's not giving you those disputes. Basically at the end of the day, you got to do the math on the local service ads. Hey, they gave us, whatever it is, like 20 phone calls. It costs $4,000 for the month. So whatever the math is on that, like $50 a call. Is that right? That's probably wrong. That's probably $200 a call. And then how many were good qualified leads? Leads we wanted to sign. How many did we sign? And do the math on all those things. I showed you all a chart where we've got the how much we paid, how much we took off for the disputes, how many calls we actually got, the cost per lead, around $300 in that chart. How many clients we signed? About 30. Spent about 30,000. Cost per lead was about 11. Cost per signed client was about $1,100 to $1,200. So do the math on the local service ads. Question from Grace Clark: is it worth accepting leads from an LSA if it's not a case you practice in, but you have a paid referral? 1,000%. What you want to do is tell Google, I love you, Google, and I want you to send me lots of leads, and I want to spend lots of money with you. So, look, the algorithm is designed for you to succeed, but let's face it, it's also designed for Google to succeed. And Google succeeds when they have happy clients. And that means if they post an LSA and your brand's there and someone clicks it, you answer it really quickly, 1 or 2 rings, and you accept the case and you pay Google for it and everybody's happy, right? Like, the algorithm's designed to optimize for you, optimize for the user, like the Google user, the Google searcher, and optimize for Google to make money. So paying for those leads is definitely the way to go. So obviously, if you can refer it out, that's a win-win-win scenario. Everybody's winning. Fast IVR equals phone tree. Thanks for clarifying that, Mark. Real-time dispositions are ideal. Yeah, like Alicia's getting in super quickly and dispositioning all the calls. Local service ads announced this week we can no longer do disputes. Oh, wow. Okay, I assume my LSA team knows that. Mark likes the funny slide. Maybe that's the help, I've fallen, I can't get back up. Is number 6 featured snippets? No, it was YouTube. Number 6 is schema. No. Eloisa, sorry, can you go back 1 slide, please? I'm not sure what one that was, but if you tell me what you're looking for, I'll go back there. Question from Tyler Crow. How do you determine where to draw the line between whether to ask and answer a question on your transactional page versus whether to create a new piece of content that covers the question? That's a good question. And I think what you're saying is like a transactional page, like, car accident attorney page, or your, you're like a practice area page, like your car accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident. Do you want to answer questions on those page versus create a new page of content that covers that question? A lot of Google questions are like, it depends. If your page is ranking really, really well and doing well and getting transactions, then I would create a new page of content. And I wouldn't cover the exact question, but I would broaden out a little bit. So you don't want to confuse Google that you're really doing the same thing on 2 pages on your website. So maybe come at it from a different way, and create a new page, or do it as a blog post, or do it as a video and a video blog, so that Google doesn't, get confused and it doesn't hurt the results you're getting on that current page. BB if new XR6516. Yes, there will be a replay, and we post all of these on our YouTube channel. Mark D, very good seminar, dynamic presenter. Thank you, Jay, et al. You're very welcome. Are FAQ sections still valuable? Hey, Bruce Silver, hope everything's great. Yeah, we like FAQ sections. It's another way, look, it makes sense for the consumer, right? Like a lot of consumers read FAQs on a lot of e-commerce sites and things like that. So it's a great way to answer questions, like we said, very valuable for SEO. Maybe you even put a video blog into your FAQ and answer the question on video, answer it with words, explain with the words what's answered in the video. And FAQs are a logical place for people to navigate, and Google likes that when people, go to a lot of areas of your site, read multiple pages, spend dwell time, watch videos, all of that's now built into the algorithm to see how helpful your website is. Because think of it this way, like we're saying Google now is built, help and answering questions, like helping people, solving problems into the algorithm. Well, if they click and come to your website and then they go right back to Google and, they click the back button, it probably means they couldn't get an answer on your website, or they couldn't find a way to get an answer. So what you want to do is design your website to have, lots of really good answers, really detailed answers to the questions, very easy for them to find. And then, a page that encourages them to spend time on that page. So Google sees, hey, when somebody asks a question about Uber and Lyft accidents and they go to Jeff McDonald's website, there's a really great answer there, meaning mathematically, statistically, Google's measuring, okay, click over to the site. How long did it take for this consumer to come back to Google, or leave? And what did they do there? Did they call Jeff McDonald, right? Because most of our sites have Google Analytics. Most of our sites have call tracking. Most of our sites are measuring that call or the form fill or the chat as a conversion. So Google knows darn well. I clicked over to Jeff McDonald. They read this blog about Uber and Lyft accidents. They watch his video about Uber and Lyft accidents, and then they call Jeff McDonald, right? They know that the site was helpful. So helpful, in fact, they wanted to call Jeff McDonald and do business with him. So, again, when you're thinking of SEO, you're thinking of architecturing your sites to answer questions for folks and be helpful and get them to spend time on your site. That's funny. Mark D says, a video site for corporate attorneys, SueTube, SUE tube. Tyler Kraut, since Gemini results are an opt-in service that works when you're logged in and most tools don't crawl the SERPs like that, what's the best way to track your success in Gemini sourcing you and its answers? I think I covered that to the best of my knowledge. It's like, you're going to answer questions, you're going to be helpful. It's all the same type of SEO strategies about answering questions and solving problems we talked about earlier. Eloisa, what are the most important KPIs in my marketing agency should report on? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I showed you what I think is the most important KPI. And that's how many signed cases and what's the cost per signed case. At the end of the day, that's the number one. And then we're going to work our way back from that, right? How many cases did we want? What was the cost per cases that we want? Because maybe you couldn't sign them, but they were still really good leads. You're still going to want the source that provided a really good lead, a really good prospect. And then, then again, we're going to work back from cost per signed case. So just traffic and leads. There's really three kind of leads we focus on in most of our clients' websites: calls, form fills, and chats. And not in that order. We want calls. 20 to 25% of calls convert to signed clients. We want chats. A lot of people are not going to pick up the phone. Like, let's, imagine, you're calling about a terrible accident and your aunt's terrible injury, and your two kids are sitting there, watching TV, and you're doing research on your cell phone. There's zero chance you're picking up the phone. What if you're at work and you're on hopefully you're on a break, you're not actually working, and you're doing research for your aunt's car accident? You're not picking up the phone to talk about your aunt's car accident while your coworkers are in the space. So chat becomes super important and increases your conversion opportunities. And finally, form fills. But I actually discourage form fills when we're designing websites now. The form's going to be there. It's at the very bottom of the page. Some people want to fill out a form. They're old-fashioned or whatever. But chats and text. A lot of consumers want to text. If you get under 40 into the millennial age or even under 45, people just communicate that way, right? So for those of us who own firms and might be a little over 40, like, we don't just naturally think like, why would someone text? They would call my firm. No, a lot of millennials and Gen Zs, Gen Ys, like, they want to text. They don't like to talk to human beings. So you got to have that function on your site. So again, we're going to look at web traffic, number of leads as defined by calls, chats, and forms. And then some of the other KPIs, like, we're going to look at SEO. We're going to look at, dwell time. We talked about that. Some of the website traffic statistics. But now we're digging deeper. I mean, the main, at the end of the day, what was my web traffic? What were my leads? How many leads? What lead sources? Cost per lead on the paid services, cost per signed case, and maybe look at Google Maps and some YouTube data. You guys are great today. These are awesome questions. Aaron Floor, thanks for participating. Any suggestions if one LSA listing is suspended for circumventing? Help tickets unresponsive for over a month. Delete and remake. Is that risky? If you're getting into a month, try and stick it out for a couple more weeks, but then you can delete and remake. It's not the end of the world. I mean, you're going to leave your Google Maps in place, but you can reboot the local service ads. It's not a bad idea. Gabriella Novo, and we're happy to look at that for you, Aaron. Like, sometimes when we look at an account, we find like someone was very frustrated. Their local service ads weren't running. Their agency was telling them they're doing everything they can. And we went in the account and we just found a credit card that was, it needed to be reconfirmed. So sometimes you can just dig a little deeper in the LSAs, but it sounds like you know what you're doing. So Gabriel Novo, the problem is when you spend all this money on Google and then you get a 1-star review, as a lawyer, you can't do much to get it off. You're limited how you respond and have to follow the Florida bar language. You dispute it with Google and get absolutely nowhere. Yeah, look, here's the pros and cons. I mean, the good thing is you don't want to have a 5.0 rating. And we all know it. Like when you look at a restaurant and there's, 14 reviews and they're all 5-star, that's friends and family. There's not any consumers who've done a review yet. So we like to see like the 4.8s, the 4.9s, the 4.7s, maybe for a product like 4.6s, 4.7s. And we all know how to do it. Like you go look at the 1-star reviews and someone's like, oh, this TV is great, but the packaging was ripped. Come on, buddy. You gave him a 1-star review for that. So, a lot of times we look at those negative reviews. And so if someone gives you a 1-star review, and especially if it's like the guy we had earlier who looked like he signed in as a cell phone. What was it? BB if new XR 6516. If it's a review from someone like that, just say, I'm sorry, BB, I don't have anyone in our client files with your name. If something did go wrong, I'd love you to reach out to me directly, give them a direct email address and a direct phone number, and say, we're very proud of the work we do at our firm. We haven't had any instances like this that I'm aware of, and I'd love you to contact me directly so we can take care of it. And if a consumer sees that and they see the 1-star review, don't beat yourself up over it. The new person searching is going to see that you're still, 4.7, 4.8, and they're going to see that you respond to these, kind of fake reviews. Slide request, how much M&M was paying for PPC? See if I can dig that up. Oh, how much Morgan & Morgan was paying for PPC? Yeah, that's like 1.5 million. But one thing about that data point, it's a little it's one of the less accurate. Like we showed you the Maps research and the obviously the screenshots of the Google searches. Those are pretty accurate, but this is our least accurate tool. I think you can see it. Yeah, so one thing that's super accurate is I can 95%, 99% tell you that Morgan's spending more money than they were spending in 2020. So they basically it says they're spending $1.5 million now. Is that right? Oh, it says they're spending $1 million now. They're probably spending like 8 million. Like this tool is not, because Google doesn't know how many searches or how many ads are running on every browser all across the country. But they do know that this tool is grabbing a sample of thousands and thousands of browsers. They probably have a free app they gave you that you downloaded, but they can't see all the Google ads. So one thing they do know though is the spend is increased, like the share is increased, and they're spending a lot of money. But the 1.5 million is probably not super precise. Okay, I'll put the download back up in case you guys want to grab it. Here's the super secret algorithm again. Okay. Again, thanks for the questions. This is awesome. Is having multiple Google My Business listings in the cities you want to dominate still the best solution for near me related searches? 1,000%. Is the homepage tab still relevant on websites, or is it reasonable to assume that viewers click the home and the logo? We just put the logo now. Most people kind of know that. Is the home tab relevant for SEO? I don't think so. Google knows that. What's the third thing? Foreign frames. Gabriella, can you explain that again? We had 3 parts of Google. The third part was artificial intelligence, but I covered that first. The other, so it's local service ads, pay-per-click, artificial intelligence, Google Maps, and SEO. How'd you pull up the Google page with a heat map overlay? That's a tool. We use a couple different tools for that. So we use Local Viking, Bright Local, and the one with the circular is called Search Atlas. We really like that. It's a new tool. I think we're at the end of the hour, so some folks are bugging out. Louisa, thank you so much. Mark Lopez, Gabriel Nubo. So, guys, awesome. I'm going to wrap up here because we're just over an hour, and I like to keep them at an hour. But please, contact me at 10 Golden Rules. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. I love you for it. And if you're listening to this on iTunes and you got some value, please subscribe to our show on iTunes or Spotify if you're listening to the audio sometime in the future. And by the way, this is June 2024. If you're listening to this anytime in the future, come to 10 Golden Rules or go to my LinkedIn, Jay Berkowitz on LinkedIn, and just say, hey, I love it when people give me a shout out. And it's back to the future, right? So thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, whenever you're listening to this. And with that, we'll see you next month. What's coming up? Oh, we're going to talk about nearshoring and offshoring your legal services. Have a great day, everyone.